She laughed right in my face, her glossy lips parted in victory, eyes shining like she'd already won. While my fingers trembled around the phone in my pocket, holding the single screenshot that would shatter her perfect little life forever. My name is Harper Quinn. And this is the night I stopped being the girl everyone felt sorry for. We were at Ava's engagement party. My Ava. The woman I'd loved for 7 years, the one I'd gotten down on one knee for under the cherry blossoms last spring. Tonight was supposed to be ours. Fairy lights, champagne, her hand in mine, while our families finally celebrated us. Instead, I stood near the bar with a forced smile, watching Ava glow in that backless white dress I'd helped her pick, laughing louder than anyone as her best friend Riley raised a glass. "To Ava and Logan," Riley shouted. The entire rooftop erupted. Logan, my Logan. The girl who'd been my closest friend since college. Logan, who was supposed to be my maid of honor. Logan, who now had her arm looped around my fiancé's waist like it had always belonged there. Ava's eyes found mine across the crowd. She winked, that playful, heart-melting wink that used to make me weak. Then she turned and kissed Logan. Slow. Deep. The kind of kiss that made half the guests cheer and the other half pretend they didn't see. My phone vibrated again. I already knew what it was. I'd known for 4 hours. 4 hours ago, I was at home curling my hair, practicing the speech I was going to give tonight about how Ava was my home, my future, my everything. That's when the anonymous email hit my inbox. Subject: she's been lying for 18 months. Screenshots, voice notes, hotel confirmations in Nashville, Tulum, Santorini, a pregnancy test photo, positive, dated 5 weeks ago, with the caption, "Our little family can't wait to tell the world after we get rid of Harper." The final message was from yesterday. Ava to Logan. Tomorrow night she'll finally be humiliated in front of everyone. Once we announce our engagement, Harper won't dare fight me for the loft. You, me, and baby. Forever. I read it until the words blurred. Then I put on the red dress Ava always said made me look dangerous, grabbed the stack of printed proof, and came to the party ready to burn it all down. Now here we were. The DJ dropped our song, the one Ava and I danced to in our kitchen at 3 a.m. when we first moved in together. Logan spun her under the string lights. Ava threw her head back and laughed. That bright, careless laugh I used to live for. I felt the floor sway beneath my heels. Riley tapped the mic again. "Okay, beautiful people. The happy couple has a few words." Ava took the microphone like she owned the night. God, she was stunning. Even now, especially now, she took my breath away. That only made the knife twist deeper. "Thank you all for being here," Ava started, voice warm and teary. "Tonight is about closing one chapter and opening the one I was always meant to live." She looked straight at me when she said it. Closing one chapter. The crowd sighed and cooed. My own sister reached over and squeezed my hand like I was part of the joke. Logan stepped up, sliding a possessive arm around Ava's shoulders. "I just want to say," she grinned into the mic, "Harper, babe, thank you for being so chill about everything. Real love means knowing when to let go." The rooftop roared with laughter and applause. My mother actually dabbed her eyes, whispering, "So mature." I set my champagne flute down slowly. Then I walked toward the stage, heels clicking like gunshots across the hardwood. Ava's smile flickered. "Harper?" She laughed nervously into the mic. "Babe, come join us for the toast." I stepped up onto the platform. Logan offered me a smug little side hug. I let her arm drop like it burned. I pulled the thick stack of printed messages from my clutch. The rooftop went dead silent. Ava's eyes locked on the papers. Every drop of color drained from her face. "Harper," she whispered, "what are you—" I turned to the crowd. My voice didn't even waver. "Hey, everyone. Most of you know me. I'm the one who paid for this open bar, who designed the floral arches, who's been called Old Chapter for the last 18 months while planning my own wedding." Gasps. Phones rose like a wave. I held up the first page, a photo of Ava and Logan tangled in sheets, time-stamped 3 days after our engagement. "This," I said calmly, "is what forever apparently looks like." Ava lunged for the papers. "Harper, stop it right now." I stepped aside easily. Logan tried to grab my wrist. I twisted free and shoved her so hard she crashed into the champagne tower. Crystal exploded across the floor. I kept going, page after page, flight receipts, the pregnancy test, the text about taking my loft. By the time I reached the final message, Ava was on her knees, sobbing those perfect cinematic tears she'd always been so good at. "Baby, please," she begged. "It's not what you think." But I was already done listening. I looked out at our friends, our families, the people who'd been cheering 10 seconds ago. "I just have one question," I said quietly. "Who wants to see the video?" Ava screamed. The rooftop turned into chaos. People shouting, cameras flashing. Ava's mother actually fainted into the caterer. Ava kept screaming my name like it could rewind time. Logan tried to push through the crowd toward the stairs. My best friend Mia and 3 of her rugby teammates formed a wall of muscle and death glares. I still had the mic. I raised one hand and somehow the noise dropped. Maybe because they sensed I wasn't finished. Maybe because they could smell blood in the air. I looked at Ava, really looked. Mascara rivers down her cheeks. Lipstick bleeding. The untouchable goddess finally cracked wide open. 18 months, I said into the mic. 18 months of lies while I paid for fertility clinic visits we never needed. While I worked 80-hour weeks to buy the loft you're trying to steal. While I held you through morning sickness, thinking it was the medication you swore you were taking. Ava's knees buckled. Riley caught her, then immediately let go like she'd been burned. I turned to Logan. She wouldn't look at me. "Remember my grandma's funeral?" I asked her. "When I flew home alone because you said Ava needed you more? You told me you were just holding her together while I grieved." I pulled out my phone, opened the video the anonymous sender had attached. Hit play. The massive projector screen behind us, meant for our engagement montage, flared to life. Ava's voice first, breathless and laughing. "Logan, baby, someone's gonna hear." Logan's low growl. The unmistakable rhythm of a bed frame against a wall. The rooftop lost its mind. Ava lunged again, clawing for the phone. I lifted it high. Venue security, who I'd hired for our wedding next month, moved in fast and pinned her arms gently but firmly. I let 30 more seconds play. Just enough. Then I stopped it. Silence so heavy it hurt. I looked at my parents. Mom was sobbing into Dad's shoulder. Dad looked ready to commit murder. I looked at Ava's father. He was staring at his daughter like she was a stranger. "I loved you," I said to Ava, off mic this time, just for her. "I loved you so much I ignored every canceled date, every secret smile, every time you flinched when my phone lit up." She was shaking her head frantically. "Harper, I can explain." "You don't get to explain anymore." I faced the crowd again. "Tomorrow this venue was booked for our wedding. $80,000 deposit. Non-refundable. All from the account I stupidly put her name on." More gasps. Someone actually booed. "I came here tonight ready to forgive," I said. My voice finally cracked. I was going to pull her aside, show her the proof, and beg her to choose me, even after everything. I laughed. A raw, broken thing. But then I watched her kiss Logan in front of all of you. Watched her toast to closing chapters. Watched my oldest friend thank me for stepping aside. I looked at Logan. "You're not my friend anymore. You're just the girl who's about to learn what happens when you break someone who has nothing left to lose." I pulled one last paper from my clutch. The new deed to the loft, transferred to my name only this morning. Ava's eyes went wide. She knew exactly what it meant. "Surprise," I whispered. "You don't get the loft. You don't get me. You don't get to rewrite history." I turned back to the crowd. Drinks are still flowing. Cakes untouched. Enjoy the party. I dropped the mic with a thud that echoed like a gunshot, stepped off the stage, walked through the parted crowd like I was made of fire. Behind me, Ava's voice shattered the night. "Harper, the baby." I paused at the rooftop door, didn't turn around. "The baby was never mine to begin with, Ava. We both know that." And I walked out into the city lights, her screams chasing me down 33 floors, like the credits of a movie I never wanted to be in. 4 months later, I was still sleeping in the loft that almost wasn't mine. Every room still smelled like her, jasmine and vanilla and lies. Her clothes still hung in the closet because I couldn't bring myself to box them yet. I left them there like ghosts. The text started 3 weeks after the party. "Ava, please answer me. I miss you so much it hurts. This is killing me, Harper." I never replied. Logan tried from new numbers, left drunk voicemails that went from rage to tears. I saved every single one. The video went mega viral, of course. Bride's fiancé exposes 18-month affair at engagement party. Karma is brutal. 80 million views and counting. Ava lost her corner office. Logan got doxxed and fired. Their families went radio silent. I didn't feel triumphant. I felt empty. Until the night the doorbell rang at 1:17 a.m. I opened it, holding a cast iron skillet, half expecting Logan to show up swinging. It was Ava, soaked from the rain, no makeup, wearing my old NYU hoodie she'd stolen years ago. She looked tiny. "Harper," she whispered. "I'm so sorry." I started to close the door. She wedged her foot in. 5 minutes, then I disappear forever, I swear. Against every ounce of self-preservation, I let her in. She stood dripping in the hallway, arms hugging her belly, 5 months visible now. "I didn't come to win you back," she said fast. "I know I destroyed that. I just need you to hear the whole truth." I leaned against the wall, said nothing. She took a shaky breath. "The baby isn't Logan's either." My stomach dropped. It was a stupid night in Mykonos, some DJ. I didn't know until after the party. Logan wanted me to terminate when I told her the truth. That's when I finally saw her clearly. She laughed, a hollow, ugly sound. "I'm the villain, Harper. I know that. I cheated because I was terrified of how real we were, terrified of being the wife you deserved. So I kept one foot out the door, and I burned the whole house down." Tears carved clean tracks down her face. "But every single night I spent with them, the only place I ever felt home was with you." She stepped closer. "I don't deserve forgiveness. I don't deserve anything. I just needed you to know I never stopped loving you, even when I was destroying us." I stared at her for a long, long time. Then I said the only thing that felt real. "Get out of my house. Harper, get out." She left without another sound. The next morning I called the realtor, listed the loft, packed one suitcase, booked a one-way ticket to Barcelona. As I locked the door for the final time, my phone lit up. Unknown number. "Thank you. You gave me the courage to leave too. Riley." Attached was a photo of Ava's entire bridal party, burning sage around a framed photo of Ava and Logan, middle fingers raised high. I actually laughed out loud in the hallway. 7 months later, I was living in Gratia, Barcelona. Tiny apartment with a balcony full of plants I hadn't killed yet. New friends who only knew the version of me that came after the fire. I rarely thought about them anymore. Then one morning, an email appeared. Subject: "You're free." Divorce papers signed. No contest. Ava paid back every cent she'd taken, plus interest. The loft sold in 3 days. All cash offer. Attached was a letter in her handwriting. "Harper, I'm in real therapy now. The kind where I don't lie to the therapist. I'm keeping the baby. It's a girl. I'm naming her Saul, because you were my son, and I lived in your light without ever deserving it. Logan and I are over. She wanted nothing to do with a baby that wasn't hers. I don't expect you to read this. I don't expect anything ever again. I just needed you to know that night on the rooftop. When you walked away with your head high and your heart in pieces, you saved me too. You showed me what dignity looks like, what power looks like. I will spend the rest of my life trying to become someone who could have been worthy of you. Be happy, Harper. You deserve the kind of love you gave me, the kind I was too broken to hold. Ava." I read it on my balcony while the Mediterranean sun painted everything gold. I cried for the first time in months. Not for her, not even for us. For the girl I used to be, the one who believed love could fix anything. Then I deleted the email, closed my laptop, walked down to the beach. A woman with sun-bleached curls and a camera smiled at me as I passed. I smiled back, real this time. Life didn't feel brand new, but it felt wide open. What would you do if this happened to you? Tell me in the comments. Thank you for watching Revenge Cut. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tales of betrayal, justice, and redemption. Until next time, stay strong and never stop believing in your truth.